And we are live. We are back. Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, tell everyone about the folks that sponsor this podcast.
The Wanna Parlay podcast. You guessed it, and you were right. It is, in fact, brought to you by the good people of Wanna Parlay. The very handsome, very attractive, very talented people of Wanna Parlay. How Lance and I became the face of this operation is beyond us. It is the home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every week people are turning $2 into $2,000 and walking out the door with it. For those of us joining the show just for the first time, Mondays are a little different. We like to take some time to celebrate some of the big winners from the Wanna Week, hand out a little recognition, and give the rest of us losers an opportunity to go mine some good ideas. One of the best parts about Wanna Parlay is when it's going bad for you, you can go see who it's going good for and outsource those picks. It doesn't have to stay that way. We've had guys like Dial Picks come on this show. We've had our boy Kevin Turner around. We've had a lot of the big-time players from Wanna come give us a little lay of the land. When it goes dark, just go see who's hot. Go get on board that. And with that being said, we had a lot of hot people this weekend. Several special shout-outs to hand out today. Starting with the Pick 7, just one winner coming on the Pick 7. It was One Man Raider. This man is no stranger to winning, people. Speaking of accounts to go check in at. He doesn't like to show off. I don't think he's won in a main event yet, but this guy's been around the rim for quite some time.
Wait,
he's
Jack.
off a lot of wins.
Jack,
go check out the profile. What's that?
So one thing I have noticed is it's actually one Mad Raider. It's been one Mad Raider the entire time.
Not to me. No, sir. Not to me.
So I noticed because I saw like the one Mad Raider name like on Wanna. I was like, oh wait. I was like, is that this? I guess maybe that's a different guy. I was looking for the One Man Raider, and I was like, maybe whatever. But now that you've said it again, I was like, okay, yeah, no, we're talking about the same bird. I hate to do you like that.
It's a shared doc. Feel free to make any edits.
I know.
When you get a chance, you fucker. Anyway,
no worries.
He's One Man Raider until he comes on and defends his own name.
True.
One Man Raider. One Mad Raider. If you're gonna go look him up on the profile, One Mad Raider. Commit that to memory. Lance, you fucker.
It's horrible. I felt horrible. Oh God.
Pick 6. Long Legs, one of my favorite names. Speaking of names on the deal, I love a good pun. This is a good trivia name. You know, if we were playing parlay trivia, Long Legs would be a good trivia name. And then Elock, hopefully we're getting him on the show later this week. He's down with a little bit of the flu bug right now, but Elock, that's not the first time we're going to hear his name. Let's go to the Pick 5. Elock again, his second win. Let me take you to the Pick 4, Lance. Elock again on Saturday, piecing off some big-time prizes this weekend. And then Outer Space Ghost, another fun name. I like
Outer Space Ghost.
Yeah, it's dabbling in both. You know, usually there's a line in the sand between people that believe in aliens and believe in ghosts. Not this guy.
Not this guy. No.
It's spiritual, but it's in the outer realms. It's in the outer reaches. It's different.
What do they call that? You're a jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly right. It's not. I don't know if it plays to that, but that is the expression. Parlay Royale. Bread Getta 65. That's $1,000, by the way. Parlay Royale, folks. If you haven't been playing that, yeah, it's a little bit more upfront money. But when you're in these holes, I was thinking about this on Sunday because once again, I don't get to win at Wanna. I just get to celebrate the others. I was thinking about this on Sunday though. That Parlay Royale is a hell of a spot to go get yourself out of a hole. $1,000, $50 Pick 4. That's $50 down on a 4-leg parlay. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, whatever. But
how many chances do you get in it? How many are you allowed to place?
I think like up to 10 now.
Ooh.
So, I mean, in terms of guaranteed win back money, like, yeah, that's all there for the taking. And then, I don't know. Spend more time in the Parlay Royale. That doesn't get traffic nearly enough. And then, of course, let's knock off all the fuss. Let's knock off the talk. It's called the main event for a reason. We've got texts out to the guy. I hope he's out celebrating with his $2,000 on some sort of tropical vacation right now. Dylan's_Chasen goes home with $2,000. I got his parlay pulled up. It's just a thing of beauty. Congrats to Dylan's. Way to go, brother. And then worth mentioning, Lance, before we get out of the Wanna section of the program here, we have not discussed enough the newest VIP trip put up on the boards. We touched on it a little bit last week, but people, Wanna's VIP contest is back up for grabs, and this time it's the best prize being auctioned off to date. Frankly, it's the best prize being auctioned off getting anywhere. It is a 2 tickets, all expenses paid, to the Wana Suite at Wrigley Field for the NHL Winter Classic on December 31st. New Year's Eve, Wrigley Field, outdoor hockey, pretty sweet stuff. We need to get Sportlance, the Canadians, any serious hockey fan to hear this message. Pretty serious stuff. Hexhead is also sponsoring the event, with prizes going all the way down to 11th place. So it's hard to win this bad boy. Obviously, it's going to be highly sought after. But know that if you just hit anything lands, you're going home with more than you spent money on. $2 for a brand new Hexhead. Welcome to a fucking sweet living room and/or just wall the bedroom. Don't hide it. I don't
Hey, and just like
posters on my wall.
KG Little Joe's just came into the chat. Yeah, buddy. And you get $100 gift card to Little Joe's to see KG himself. So that's tagged into the VIP. You could argue that's the best gift on the VIP contest, but
it's not close. Just getting in the shadow of Little Joe's and KG is worth the price of admission and then some. But people, we're talking Winter Classic, Wrigley Field, Chicago, Wrigleyville, neighborhood fucking park. Bill Murray singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Pictures with Ernie Banks, getting drunk at Sluggers with Lance and I, and then beelining it over to Little Joe's to hang with KG and spend all our money where it really matters.
Yeah.
We're sweet life in this thing too. Don't let that be lost on you. You're in the suite there at Wrigley Field.
And it's New Year's Eve. Like, this is a great.
And it's New Year's Eve.
So one thing I've noticed about New Year's Eve is that it has sometimes been one of the most overhyped holidays and overhyped events when it comes to like going out and stuff. So if you actually plan yourself a vacation and actually give yourself something to do on that night, it usually makes it 10,000 times more better. Now, if you try to wander around and go to the bars and wherever you are and try to make a fun night, that's usually when it's disappointing. But if you can go in there and win this contest, dude, you're at Wrigley Field in a suite, outdoor hockey. That doesn't come by often. I mean, this is as good as it gets, folks. KG Little Joe's, last chance to make a bad decision in 2024. And I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else than at KG Little Joe's.
I love that. How about the wisdom from the 23-year-old?
Yeah. Hey, you learn a thing or two. You learn a thing or two after making so many goddamn mistakes. But hey.
Well, we'll see. That's a perfect segue to accountability time. Not a great week for the boys of Wana. Really not a good week for you.
No.
I suppose we should go chronologically. Hey, you know what, though? Something to pay attention to? And we need to start keeping record of this. We had our first real party wave of the chat was in on it. You and me were in on it. Everyone felt good about the Rams last week, +3.
Yeah.
And we fucking cashed that thing easy.
That was awesome.
Coming off the Thursday show, I know we like to talk about the weekend picks, and we will. Thursday show, Little Joe's in the chat. Fucking James Morris was in the chat ripping. A couple other guys were in the chat ripping. Everyone was Team Rams. We were Team Rams. We called it like we see it. Way to go. That's a big win.
Just a great win. Way to go. Just a great win.
I should say boys and girls. Who's to say there's not women that watch this show? There could be.
Hey, I saw in that main event. I saw in that main event. There was a girl, her name Marie Naomi, was up on 130-point multiplier parlay throughout the entire week. It just got hot down. I felt bad for her.
And frankly, unsurprising because it patterns the rest of my social experiences. But I reached out to a young lady, and the young lady didn't reach back to me. So we're still waiting on her interview as well. But that's the way she goes sometimes.
That's just the way she goes.
Thursday party wave, and then we get to Saturday. We get to the weekend, and I go 2 and 3. Now I want to put down a heavy disclaimer here because, and this has happened in the past. When you do Thursday show, you got to stand by a 2-day-old opinion. And come Saturday morning. That game kicked off at noon Pacific. By 11:30, all my money was on Navy, and I knew what was happening. Something to keep our eyes on, Lance. A good little trend as these lines get posted now because there's 2-week or 10-day breaks in between these games.
Mm-hmm.
Lines get posted because we already know the matchup early, so we can see how this line moves, where the money and the public goes, and if the line gets switched up at all or gets pushed around by that. And I think there's some damn good indicators. The one I was looking at for this Navy game, okay, all the money, all the public on Army. Okay, they were the better team all year. Fair enough. Sometimes, I mean, we've gotten ourselves broke a couple times chasing that bad boy. But while that was going on, the line held firm at 6.5. It never once went to 7.5 or above that Army spot. It held firm there, which to me, when you get all that math, you get those three things happening at once, it's a go-ahead lock guarantee. I jumped on the Navy side. I was unable to inform our unbelievable public here.
You know, and
and
I have a little bit of story like that, Jack. When we get to mine, I have a little bit of jumping ship last second because I realized chaos was among us.
Well, I jumped ship for a better ship. I jumped in midshipman here, and I got on. So, but in terms of my picks, yeah, I go 2 and 3. Army minus 6.5. Thursday, I felt real good about it. And all of a sudden, so there was just the tremor in the force that told me Vegas was smarter than me, and by golly, they always are. Over 39.5, Army Navy. That one cashed, and that one was easy. Should have kind of stood on the table for that one. That one to me was easy.
Mm-hmm.
The Service Academy unders has been a historic lock. And this number is usually hanging around like 27 for this game. For it to be at 39.5, I knew it was kind of hanging around there because people just couldn't believe it. But this, if you watch these teams all year, Navy's offense is very different. It's not purely the triple, the veer that we've grown to know and love them for. And Army's offense all year has been, if anything, productive. They've scored a lot of points and they picked up a lot of first downs. Bryson Daly's been great. He ends up with the passing TD. So if you chased all 5 of these, you shouldn't have lost too much money because the passing TD was plus 230. We cover that one. We get stuffed getting down in the low red. We don't pick up the rushing one, and rushing yards also doesn't hit. I should have taken carries. Should have went with carries. Shouldn't have gone with yards. Dumb. But you live and you learn. 2 and 3 with an asterisk. And frankly, a good lesson moving forward. Feel good about our college football slate going into the bowl season and playoffs.
Hey, and I feel like, especially towards the end of the season, that Navy kind of got overshadowed by Army's success because Army was the last undefeated before they went into Notre Dame, and Navy was kind of just left off. But Navy's a good football team. They were.
Yes is the answer, but it got a whole lot less attractive late in the year. They got boat raced by Tulane, which wasn't shocking, but they also got beat by Rice, and so those two things.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't know the Rice one, so maybe they deserve to, get blackballed a little.
Yeah. Now they beat the hell out of a really good Memphis team earlier in the year. This is not a bad Navy team, and Blake Horvath, their quarterback, absolutely played his ass off. It was cool. That Army Navy game is just such a cool game, such a special game, fun to watch.
It's fun to watch because really, in reality, if it was just any other two schools, it wouldn't be that fun to watch, Jack. It'd just be like grindy. It looks like high school football. No, I'm being honest. Yeah, this is my take. Especially because I get it. You're a football coach. You might love it more than I do. You might love the game. I'm going to be honest. I don't care for the triple option going back and forth that much anymore. I watched it this year, and
So you're not wrong in the sense that like you have an opinion. You got to trust your eyes. It is what it is. But if you just had a little bit more of an education as to what you were looking at, I think you would full-heartedly disagree with what you just said.
In what context? Are you saying like of the X's and O's and the plays they're running?
Yeah. So air raid, for instance, which has become a lot of those principles are embraced by a lot of spread offenses these days. But how often do we see no huddle, repeat formations over and over and over again with the 2x2 on the outside, and then simple little play calls where it's dink and dunk your way down the field, and then obvious in terms of situational the entire game. We're going to be throwing. We're going to run on this 3rd and short. We won't get under center. We can't run quarterback sneak for a 4th and 1. We're going to punt always open field on 4th and 3. Like these are teams that are going for it on 4th down, sub 4th and 5 from their own 35. These are teams running complex run schemes where we have multiple pullers happening. We've got false pulls. We've got reads happening on every single play. Like there's a lot of really fun football shit going on in that game.
I know, and that's why I love the Army Navy game. But I'm saying, Jack, if you put 2 different names on these teams, I don't care that. Like I wouldn't watch the game. It's because it's Army Navy.
I'm going to send you some good triple offense film after this. We're going to go through some old Kennesaw State film. Yes, we are. We're going to go through some 2000 Washington film. We're going to watch Marcus Tuiasosopo play. We're going to do it all, Lance. We're going to appreciate under center.
Yeah, hey, maybe I need more appreciation because that was a takeaway. Because the group chats were firing back and forth. There was someone that I knew that was just outright, this game's boring. Like I was like, come on, like at least have the spirit. But they had a point. It's just coming back from what we do today and, you know, the top D1 programs, well, fuck, I guess Army was one of them, and they're 11-1, guys. But
ask Tulane how boring Army was. Ask Memphis how boring Navy was. It's super boring.
No, they can win games because they play a completely different brand of football that, like, no other team prepares that much for film. Like, or
you didn't like
as much
like the grit and grind Grizzlies back in the day. You don't like the smash mouth Pistons. You don't like just a little change of speed. Like, I get a little sick of.
No, you're right. But that's a
brands.
Yeah.
I like and occasionally those.
But that's my point. The brand Army and Navy. Like, if this was like, imagine just for the fun of it, like a shitty, like, Vanderbilt. Does Vanderbilt run this offense?
No.
Yeah, okay. I was just double checking. You don't want to look like a full idiot, but because I thought there was no way. But imagine like a Vanderbilt or an SEC ran this, and they would get boat raced in their games, and it was like a common occurrence. But they stayed true. Like, you wouldn't, Vanderbilt football wouldn't be that fun to watch.
Yeah, but we're like, okay, so there's two.
Like Notre Dame versus Army. Notre Dame beat the dog piss out of them.
So there's two separate arguments to be had. We agree on one of them. One, Army Navy is always cool. Those brands are awesome. It makes the game, the pageantry, 100% back. You're arguing that this brand of football isn't very exciting.
I'm outside,
outside. And if it wasn't Army Navy, so if it was just 2 games and we were playing this game in September, this wouldn't be a fun game worth watching.
It wouldn't nearly have the aura
If this was Vanderbilt versus Oregon State and we're playing this game in September and these are the offenses.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, it's not actually that, you know. It's because of the aura of Army Navy. We sit there like, fuck yeah, you love grinding that. Like, God, good first down. Like, fucking 8 people just pulled on that goddamn play. Like, did you see that? Did you see that? Like, it's like, it's because of the weekend. Remember, there's no other football on that day.
So here's what's interesting. I was on a coaching staff that had to prepare to play against Navy. I was on SMU when we played Navy in the COVID season in 2020. And it was a wild learning experience for me. The entire week of practice was extremely different from any other week of practice we had that entire week. We had a GA wearing pads on, playing quarterback to simulate their under center quarterback and the veer. We didn't go anything under center, so we didn't want to fuck up the process. We just had a guy snapping a Nerf football and a guy holding the football behind him, and we just go on cadence and say ready to go. And you have to shut down your entire week of practice. You can't do any good on good. Defense goes on their side, and you just go and have to learn this fucking complex. It seems simple. It seems like 5 guys, their hand on the ground, we're just mashing. We've got shit going on every play. And I'm telling you, if we can get this going on a whiteboard, it is a fascinating little deal. And if you fuck around, these teams can go and beat just about anybody.
No, and I agree with you.
It's a hard week to go.
And I know that.
Now, and let me get one other detail out there. It seems inferior because it feels like, well, why wouldn't more teams run it if it were a superior brand of football? My argument, right, doesn't stand up for anything. If it's Army Navy, who haven't historically been great, and they've just been running this offense for forever. Quick little fun fact, by the way, the reason Army and Navy hang on to it for so long, their offensive linemen have to get through basic training. So you can't have 6'8", 330-pound offensive linemen. It just doesn't fit in the military. Mm-hmm. So they got to commit to smaller offensive linemen and embrace an offense that uses this offense. That's part one. Part two is to do this offense. It's so complex in its run schemes and how it changes versus every defensive front that you're going to see, that to do it, the rule of thumb is you have to major in it. So Navy this year, it was interesting to them see they still majored in it, but they added all these other wrinkles. It wasn't just the only offense they had. They got into some shotgun. They did some spread stuff. They did some other stuff you'll see across the country. But I still think, and who the fuck am I? There's a lot of smarter coaches that have had the opportunity to try to do this and have not. It helps if you have a quarterback that has done it previously, that maybe came from some sort of system like this. Grayson McCall at Coastal Carolina a couple years ago, it was kind of a spread triple. They didn't do it from under center, but a lot of the same principles. He was a triple offense guy in the early years. Coastal, by the way, went 11-1 that year. Beat BYU. Fun stuff.
Wow.
But everyone will tell you can't minor in it. I would argue you could. And I think one day we're going to see a coach minor in it, and it's going to be one of the great offenses in the history of college football. Washington in 2000 minored in it with Marcus Tuiasosopo as their quarterback, won the Rose Bowl, beat Drew Brees. So
true.
You tell me, Lance. You put that in your pipe and smoke it. I think it's good football.
I mean, don't give me... So it's tough. It's tough because you know that no one else really does it in college football. So when you match up against one of them, you like you said, it's a completely different week. And we're talking about kids here, so it's easy to make mistakes. They can sneak wins, and
No, Lance, to be fair to you, what I just did there is absolute bullshit. What I just did there was like some film dork arguing for 2 hours why Citizen Kane's the best movie of all time. And you're like, I don't give a shit what it accomplishes thematically and what they did with the cameras and I don't care. I want to see shit go through the sky and blow up, and I want fun, and I want a hot girl in the plot, and I want all these things.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, because of Army Navy and because of their own weekend and because it's their own game and the aura and the history and everything. Like, I mean, remember, I'm a service member, yeah. Jack. Like, I have no disrespect, but
by the way, last Thursday, missed an opportunity. Right, let's round of applause to our guy celebrating 5 years. 5 years ago, he took the pledge. Thank you, sir.
Hey, I got this shirt.
You're better than me. You're better than me.
Hey. I just wasn't as good as a high school student. But so yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to hate. I'm not trying to hate on their brand of football or anything. I was just saying it was. I feel like it's a pretty easy point to make if this was or say Oregon State, like you were saying, Oregon State, Wyoming, and they both ran this offense, and it was Saturday afternoon. Like, I don't. That's it. The offense ain't that good. Like, it ain't that like so. But hey, but you also know the X's and O's a hell of a lot better than me, and you understand these concepts. So for someone like you, maybe you would watch Oregon State, Wyoming.
Here's a good example. I hated baseball for years after I stopped playing baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of the first generation where they made you become kind of a one sport athlete in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so went to all football, but I'd played baseball my whole life. And then couldn't understand it because I never saw anything but a fastball and one off speed pitch. I wasn't playing kids that threw 90 and did all that stuff, and like, so it's just different sport. So when I watched baseball, all I could see was my experience from it. And I just like, it was the most vanilla version of a sport that already doesn't move very fast. So I was like, oh, this is boring as shit. It wasn't until like 5 years ago where I started paying attention to like these YouTube guys who are doing pitching sequencing and talking about every at bat. Okay, here's what the pitcher's thinking on this pitch. Okay, he started with him there. That's setting up this pitch, so he's going to go there to this. And so now every at bat you watch, I can go through and be like, oh, okay, here's the chess match going on. I think it's the same with triple offense, where it's like you don't quite see the chess match until like you got to be shown it, and then you see it, and then you don't stop seeing it, and it becomes a super interesting thing to do.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, because baseball, it's baseball, but I've heard about like the pitcher, like there's a lot more that goes on than just a guy throwing a ball at.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is my problem with basketball right now. I don't understand what the hell I'm looking at, other than like I would a pickup game. Like I don't know.
And it's funny because it's almost like you do because they're just jacking threes, Jack. They're just
the NBA. 100%. That's like college hoops for me are fun because we're getting into sets. I like getting into sets and having options and having guys make decisions and seeing how guys do it when it breaks down late in the shot clock. And all that stuff.
I will say though, for me personally, not going to a college and having like a college basketball team, like no matter what, I'm bought in on them. A college basketball is pretty brutal for me to watch until March because they're just not that good. They're just not that good at basketball players compared to the NBA.
The shooting quality goes way down.
So like a 2-3 zone is very effective.
Yeah, college hoops, like there's an argument to be made, like sometimes high school hoops are even more, like there's a weird spot because college, like you have to fit that defensive profile to be able to play college basketball. You have to be able to switch and guard and do all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So we've got athletic freaks all over the college hoops game, but we don't have a lot of polished, refined shooters. Those are few and far between.
The NBA wants something, and that's the polished shooters that can play defense. So if you figure out that world,
I tell you what, though, there's some fun players right in this year's college basketball. Have you seen the kid for Cal, Pedro Stojakovic's kid?
Oh yeah, he's a baller. Yeah, I just watched him drop like 30 on a team. I don't know who they played, but
the Duke boys, Michigan's got a 7-footer that's an absolute baller. I'm forgetting his name because I kept thinking the FAU transfer that Vladislav Golden was going to be the guy. They got a 7-footer who looks like freaking like almost like a twitchier Jokic out there. It's like Obviously, I know what I just
No,
said.
I know. Yeah, you're good.
Oh God.
But no, that's my
Anyway.
point. Like, there's prospects. I don't know. We don't have to go that deep into it, but there's prospects. But it's like, as the overall teams, like the fifth or sixth guy on Duke is just not even merely close to anything going to the NBA. So
you talked about the gal we had coming third this week, who literally took the lead going into first into the main event this week in WANA. And we're not getting our boy Dylan's on today. I'm hoping we can set something up for later in the week. So I'll hide all the details for now on the specifics of this parlay. But how classic is it that he had Washington money line over Saints? That was the only thing he put in there to get him over the hump to beat that girl. Like, he needed one more leg. If you remove that, the math doesn't work. And it was the surest bet of the whole board. I'm looking at his picks right now. He's got Washington money line over the Saints. And Spencer Rattler almost come back and absolutely steals it from him. It was going to go down to a coin toss, but instead it's the failed 2-point conversion. It's just crazy. The parlay game is fun. Parlay game is fun.
Parlay game is so wild.
Boy, does it just have to be your day.
Like, especially when you get in those deep ones. Like, I mean, it was I don't know for sure, but like 130-point multiplier was the bar. So everyone's just swinging for the fences at that point all week. So it really.
I mean, there's a reason this bet would have still paid him or 180 or $280 in a casino on a $2 bet. That's not Vegas's deal. But it's $280 in a casino, and it's $2,000, which we should get at WANA. So again, I like the colors we represent, Lance. I like the people stand in front of.
I love it. All right, so I guess this is probably when I should hop into accountability hour.
Oh my God, we didn't even get there.
No, I did. I did it.
Let's go there. Let's do that so we can just go straight to Monday Night Football. Let's get straight into it.
Love it. Here we go. KG Little Joe's real quick. Look at the Dallas Golden State game last night. That looked like the NBA All-Star game. No defense being played at all. KG, it's sick. This league has turned, honestly, and it's sad. This is something I'll say right now. I think the NBA is becoming a little unwatchable. I'm actually starting to get a little detached from it. And I feel like there are a lot of viewers here in America that agree with me. It's just not a great brand of basketball. I feel like, and also that we've overhyped too much of the individual athlete, that there's no meaning of a team. Like you said earlier in the show, like the Grizzlies. Grit and grind, like a slower pace. Like, you kind of just knew who the Grizzlies were. There's no identity with these teams really anymore. Celtics, they just have like 6 all-stars that are just going to whoop your ass. They're just going to huck threes, and they're better than you. The Miami Heat, they're unloading Jimmy Butler, and who knows what they change into. Those still, I guess Spoelstra still has a current style of coaching that they'll stick to, but I mean, they're jacking threes. And Popovich, who would have thought he'd have his, I guess he's been hurt or not hurt, unhealthy, prayers for Pop. He has his 7'4" guy jacking threes. Jack, he's just out there shooting 12 a game, because why not?
And now the Spurs have been lost since Tim Duncan left. That's why I tried to make the comp. And again, the health thing's trying to table those things and not be disrespectful of Greg Popovich. But I mean, the leeway we gave him in press conferences after Tim Duncan left, they've not had an above 500 season since Tim Duncan left.
Yeah, I think they might have had one with Kawhi and maybe a little 500 ball with DeMar. But no, you're right. They haven't been anything serious.
They certainly have not made a playoff.
No.
If it was over 500, they didn't make a playoffs, and it's the most inclusive playoffs in pro sports.
Exactly. So, I mean, but it's like there's no identities. Like, it's all just the same garbage. It's just jacking threes or getting to the hoop.
Well, little KG just brought up the good point of last night's game. I didn't even sit down and watch it. I just caught like the halftime score. It was like 85-74, something like that. The Warriors broke the first half record for 18 made threes and a half. And
they were losing.
It's, you know what? And if I were an NBA player right now, like, this would be so tough to hear you and me be like, what are we even looking at here? Because it's such a freak show display of talent, athleticism, and the whole thing. But I totally agree. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, do we need to chop the season down and kind of give them like rather than 4 games a week, it's 2 games a week, and we can just live in that model where we could start getting some defense, and it's a, rather than an 82 game schedule, it's a 50 game schedule, and all of a sudden, like, you can't get in slumps. We can't have fucking rest, or what's the term for load management?
Yeah.
You can't have load management. Obviously this never works. There's historical value to it. There's records and all these other things you have to consider. There's, what does that do to contracts and all this other stuff. It's not a possible thing, but it is interesting. Where does the NBA go from here? I think honestly, a couple stars, American stars, away from fixing it. Not to be anti-international players or anything like that, but LeBron and Steph haven't been competing for finals in 4 years, and I think that it's the ratings and the energy towards the NBA has reflected that, where we're just in desperate need. We did a great obviously we were known around for this, Lance, but when you watch the Jordan documentary, they talk about Magic and Larry, how lost the NBA was. They had like a blip with Russell and Jerry West, and then late 70s, no one gave a shit, all the way into and then with the 80s. And with Magic and Bird, the games are still on a tape delay at that time.
Yeah, the NBA Finals that Magic Johnson won when he subs in for Game 6 and he's playing center and he drops like 40. I mean, the guy, it was on tape delay. Couldn't even watch it.
So then they bring the league back. They hand the baton to Michael. Michael hands the baton to that Kobe generation. But even that took a couple years. The NBA had to go redesign itself.
Mm-hmm.
When the Malice in the Palace and all that stuff going on, they had to go rebrand a little bit. And then you get Kobe, goes to 24. Kobe takes us to LeBron. LeBron gets us to the Warriors and Steph. And then, unfortunately, is the longevity thing. It's a little bit of the Aaron Rodgers disease of like, he was supposed to have his day in the sunlight. I feel that way about Kevin Durant all the time. But now all these stars are going to be simultaneously, like the NFL this year has been that to me. Without Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers is past it, and all these guys out of the league right now, like, it's Patrick Mahomes, and I thank God we have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, some of these plot lines going on. But it's just been interesting. It's both. A lot of these leagues are just in desperate need of a baton pass.
Yeah, both leagues right now are just looking at the former champions saying, how do we beat you? We just don't, because the Celtics, they're tough. I mean, they're just a great roster. The Chiefs, you can't beat them. It seems like anything you do right, it's just tough to beat. Now, am I predicting Chiefs to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. I actually think this is the year they fall off. I think there actually might be one. But you know what I'm saying? Like the parity around the league, the safest bet would be the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
I'm excited to talk about this later in the week. I was going to tease this later on, but I'm going to save my reaction to your Chiefs thing for our later show because I want to deep dive, once we get through Monday Night Football, where we stand with 3 weeks left in the NFL season, some of the plot lines to look at with the wild card games, and then also want to take an episode this week to discuss bowl season and college football playoffs. So I think we table both those, come back and give each an episode's worth of due. And let's hit our Monday night picks here.
Yeah.
And let's,
I still haven't even gotten in accountability hour. What am I doing here?
Jesus Christ, run through it. No one's teased a 1-4 performance like this.
Oh, God. Honestly, I deserve to be done dirty. All right, so first one, Titans plus 5.5, Bengals. I mean, of the contrarian picks of all of them, this is the one I hated the fucking most. I'm betting on Will Levis. Wrong. Wrong. Don't do that.
Mason Rudolph got you some garbage points. Made it fun for you.
Yeah, but it's like just from the beginning, like your mental headspace going into a bet, when you know you're betting on Will Levis, you're not that confident.
No. I'll say this, though, about you've got some bad quarterbacks across your board here, but every Bengals game from here on out, we should be betting the over for the foreseeable future. Until that's a bad idea, we should be betting that every single game is such an easy over. It is crazy.
No, that's a great point. Because they just air it out and their defense can't do shit. It doesn't. I mean, Mason Rudolph was dicing him up. Bodes
well for an over. Holy
shit. Saints plus 7.5 actually did cover. Rattler, what a job he did. Covering with the Commanders, almost won it outright. I mean, good for him. So there's my one win, folks. Jags plus 3.5. This had me sick to my fucking stomach, Jack. The Jets have the ball. End the game. Just end the game. Knee the ball, kick the field goal, and end the game. Nope, they just run it up the middle, 1 yard run. Breece Hall touchdown to go up a 7 to give the Jags a chance, but I guess they knew better than all of us that, well, everyone knew Mac Jones was not getting that done. So we sadly missed on that one. Patriots plus 6. This was never even fucking close. Never stood a chance. It was just a pathetic weasel excuse of a pick. So that brings me into what here is a loss because I had Seahawks plus 2.5 on the show. But you know that guy Mike Feehan. That guy Mike Feehan texted us, "What's the lock tonight, fellas?" And you know, me and Papa played it. We're like, I don't know. What do you think? He hammered Seahawks, guys. I'm sorry, I had to jump ship. And when I knew I was 1-3, and I have Mike Feehan on the side going into my last bet. Nope.
Just the ultimate kiss of death there from Mike. That's
so I said, deuces. So I had actually bet Packers. Not that it changed. I'm still 1-4 on the show, but at least I, got my money win even on the book. I don't have to go to the back alley this week. So,
somehow, some way, I need that guy to be taking the Nittany Lions this week and be just all over Penn State.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was. He's. We might need to have him on the show. We might need to say what's up to him pretty soon here, sometime this week. So yeah, there was my 1-4. Not great. I'm not proud of it at all. But two of the Saints and Jags, I didn't hate. The Jags I didn't hate because I felt like I was kind of in the right spot, and then just freaking Jags will be Jags. It's just tough shit.
I will say, you bet on Jake Hayner. Rattler comes in and kind of got the wheels back under control. All of a sudden made that a game out of it with the Commanders. I think you got gifted that one, and I think you stole the other one. Or I think the other one got stolen from you.
Yeah, so honestly...
I think it's the old 1-2 switch.
Hey, at least I didn't go 0-5. We haven't had an 0-5 show yet.
It's like clanking a shot off the post. Everyone wants to say it was 1 inch away from going in. Well, it's also 1 inch away from missing entirely. So let's just take what we got. Let's live with what the post was.
Oh man. But yeah, dude, tough.
Hey,
but hey, the Packers hit swimmingly, so I wasn't really that upset.
We're hitting a great time in the NFL season, though. I literally think like this is the time, this week exactly, with 3 weeks to play, where I can now start to see the NFL plot lines and bet it with some level of sophistication. That like you get caught that the NFL season too, since they added that extra game, we had some dog days there in the middle of the season of games that it felt like low stakes. It felt like low potatoes. Obviously, you're keeping eyes on divisional races and all that stuff, but I just didn't see the big swings and like the big momentum swings within a season that you would see when during big divisional matchups this year. A lot of these divisions have been like written off for a while. With the exception of a handful. So it'll be interesting, but I like where we stand. Now, having said that, I'm talking about literally tomorrow. This is the last spot of Monday night. So bear with me. Here's me doing my absolute fucking best to get these two garbage games going tonight because we got some weird ones going out here tonight. We got some teams who are going to be having new coaches, if not next year, the following year. And we got some issues, but let's talk them through. Okay. Vikings Bears, Lance, massive game for the Vikings. The Lions lost last night and have just lost David Montgomery for the year in that game. And obviously their defense and Aiden Hutchinson went down. They've got problems.
They're banged up. I've seen that injury report. They're banged up.
You saw what Josh Allen did to him last night. You've seen some. You saw what Stafford did to him. Good quarterbacks have absolutely shredded this defense. So I'm worried a little bit for a Lions team that's been the most fun team of the year. The Vikes right now have a good chance to will win the division. And by the way, if they win tonight, they go to 12-2, right there with the Lions and the Eagles. I mean, they could fuck around and end up winning the conference and have home field the whole way, which is a big, big deal in Minneapolis. So big time stuff there. Fired up for the Vikings on the -7. This Bears team, you tell me, are you on the Bears side?
No,
Okay.
I feel like this is kind of a rollover and die season. They're just waiting for next season, get the coach, maybe bring back some.
I think absolutely. I think it's a team left for dead right now. They had the 3 weird losses where I felt like that, like you're trying to have those conversations in the locker room of like, we're close, like let's do this, like whatever. And then you have 3 heartbreaking, gutted losses in a row. You had the block kick, you had the overtime, you have a couple things where it's just absurd. And then last week they get absolutely blown out by a bad 49ers team. Like that to me feels like the team we're getting the rest of the year. And I think that where that shows up especially is on defense. I think the second you get a hair lazy on defense, the second you don't start trusting another guy to do something, you try to play hero ball on defense, that's where shit goes to hell. I think Caleb Williams has kind of been selling. So I like the over 43.5 as well. I think the Vikes are going to be dialed. I think the Bears defense is going to be shitty tonight. And I think in a couple spots, we're going to see Caleb Williams in now a low stakes season, right? He's kind of able to finally catch his breath because it's been a disaster. It is what it is now. Now he gets kind of an extended preseason into next year, just like you were saying. I think we see his deep ball finally start to land a little bit tonight. He's had chances all year.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, has this guy been overthrowing the shit out of every deep ball. I think we finally see him calm down and look like the kid he did in his last 2 years at USC and dial up the deep ball a little bit. Over 43.5 and Vikings -7.
Hey,
my picks in that game.
I love what you just did right there. That was good reasoning. Like that was real. Like I believe you. Like it's like I believe you. It's like you wrote the script and you're like telling me what's gonna happen. I'm like, all right, I believe you. Like let's go.
Now, yeah, and I'll say this, Lance. The public's with me on the Vikings, but there's just no world I'm betting on the Bears. So I love the over. But I do like the Vikings myself. I just think
I'm the same. Right now, I'll tell you, I'm on both favorites. I'm just like these are the better teams that are playing for something. The other teams aren't. I saw your other one, so I'll let you go in on the other game.
Yeah.
But I
took the dog in the other one like an idiot.
Well, hey, you are following our rule. You are following the rule. Raiders, when you just count them out the most, is about the only time they ever come through. So
well, and I went and looked at that Raiders season, dude. It's been a weird last month for them. They had a bullshit schedule this year. They've only been home one time in the last 6 games. They've played one home game since like late October.
Jeez.
So they get going. They've lost their last 5, but it's kind of been this kooky thing. They played tough against the Chiefs. Aiden McConnell's coming. So anyway, let me draw out this whole game here because I did the notes. I'm going to read the notes. I made the notes. Let me read the notes. Okay, Atlanta has to win to stay alive in their division tonight. The Bucs win yesterday, so to even stay alive, they need to win tonight, and then they would need the Bucs to drop a game. But they own the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So to stay alive in this thing, they've beaten the Bucs twice. They're 2-0 against them. You win tonight, you're very much alive. You just need the Bucs to drop you 1 in their final 3. Very much a possibility. So I do think the Falcons win tonight. But this is where you have to call me nuts. You got to give me the Raiders. Pride game for the Raiders. And a team that was all pride last year, and that's how Antonio Pierce ends up getting this job anyway. They've kind of been circled in the media as the team potentially slumping for Shador. And I think when you start getting that, I remember when the Texans played somebody, maybe the Saints. It was like Texans versus Saints, and the loser of the game was going to get the first-round pick, and it was during the Reggie Bush draft. And so, like, the hype going into that game, or both teams are going to try to lose this game the entire time. This is going to be the shit bowl or whatever it is because they both want Reggie. And they both played their fucking asses off because these guys all have too much pride. These guys are professional competitors. They're never actually tanking. The Raiders are going to play their ass off. They're back home tonight for the first time in a long time. And I get Max Crosby and that pass rush versus Kirk Cousins that can't move anywhere anymore. I just think 6.5, I could see the Raiders give us a game here. Give us a fourth quarter game, get the black hole going, get excited.
Hey, and you're 100% right. I mean, the Raiders just don't go down without a fight. That just doesn't make sense. I don't understand a Raiders team that doesn't have fight in them. Like they'll go out there and swing. It's just if I just don't want to be on the side of Desmond Ridder and he throws, an opening 2 interceptions and it's the stupidest game I've ever seen in my life. And
is that how I got playing quarterback tonight? Is it
yes.
What happened to Aiden O'Connell?
Out for season. He got a bad injury. Yeah.
This escaped me. You know what? I played against him in Cincinnati. I dig Desmond Ridder. I like his style.
Hey.
And revenge game, by the way, for Desmond Ridder.
Oh, wait. That's actually a good point. Revenge game is interesting.
that defense and everybody getting to play against that guy who's like, oh my God, give me this
Yeah,
fucking
like
shit.
barbecue chicken, like
Yeah.
they can't wait. Yeah, so that's why me personally, I didn't want to hop back and forth between like being on a favorite and a dog because I almost went both dogs and said, "Fuck it, I believe there's going to be good football tonight." Max Crosby out for season. Yeah, that was another thing I was going to say. I was like, if it's not offered on Wana, but if you for some reason are dumb enough to find yourself gambling anywhere else in this world, which you shouldn't, you should be on Wana. But if there is the option of a teaser, if you go in and take a Vikings Falcon teaser, might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea.
Couple dumb spots for me today. Couple bogeys.
Manny 47 loud. The guy just let us know. Max Crosby out for season.
Couple absolute bogeys from me today. Yep, we'll be better.
Hasn't Vegas won 5 Monday Night Football games in a row? They're not winning 6. But you never thought they were winning, though. That was never in your argument.
I don't think they're winning. I just think they're covering.
I know the itch. I know the feeling. But I'm on the both favorites.
I'm feeling just every way is stupid right now. I can't believe I didn't know who my quarterback was, and my fucking key point is also the guy.
Your DPOY is disappeared. Yeah, I mean,
you know what? College football had an expanded playoff this year, and it was intriguing, and that's where my focus has been. I apologize. That's on me.
Hey, and goddamn it, Jack. I mean, when it comes to college football, you've been unbelievable. So don't.
Can I save myself with one lock here? One lock before I get out of the building.
Go ahead.
Grand Canyon -2.5 tonight. College hoops.
Yeah, I saw that.
-2.5 at La Tech.
What do you know about Grand Canyon buckets?
All too much, Lance. GCU got off to a clunky start this season, getting beat by Arizona State and Georgia, but it's a team with aspirations for March. They were almost the Cinderella darling of the tournament last year. If it wasn't for NC State. My boy Tyon Grant Foster is a bona fide star. He's an NBA fucking guy.
Oh, really?
They're playing in March, and it's not a team that can lose 5 games and still go to March. So they're going to get right. This is a big time. They're going to get right, and this is the step in the right direction. By the way, La Tech, great schedule, which is why the line is this close. They're only 2-loss team. One of those losses is to Southern, by the way, and there's not one meaningful win on their schedule. They padded this thing up front before they get into their conference slate. So I like my side. Grand Canyon -2.5. Lock, there you go. Well-researched, well-educated take. No Max Crosby bullshit. No one Mad Raider, whatever the hell.
one Mad Raider. I forgot about that. All right. Well, bang. Fuck. That's the one I'll definitely blindly follow you on that because I will be honest. I don't know GCU basketball, but I know my guy Jack knows GCU basketball, right? Yeah, that's what you said?
Yeah, correct. I stand by that.
Hey, yeah, we're gonna we'll wail on that. All right, so you go favorite dog GCU. I'm just on the 2 favorites, and I don't mean to be going against you. Like it's nothing about that. I'm just sitting here.
You've been going against me at the start of the show. Knock it off. You live to go against me.
I actually, that is true. I did expose the one Mad
Raider.
You
called me out in the promo.
I gotta be a better friend. I gotta just be a better friend overall. We can't be doing that. But yeah, no, I got both favorites. Vikings -7, Falcons -6.5. Those are my 2 plays. If you can get a teaser somewhere, find your way to do it. Oh, KG Little Joe's is asking, so do you think Cousins will actually remember how to throw a touchdown again? I think he will. I think he actually has a pretty good game this week. Jack just had a little grumpy over there, so let's hear what you're.
It's gonna be the Bucs in the playoffs, okay? So I just thought it'd be interesting tonight if we got a good game. Excuse me, we've got 2 outside the 7-point spreads here, and
dude, I easily see a world that the Raiders cover. Like it wouldn't shock me.
Don't patronize me. Knock it off.
But I wouldn't be upset. That's the thing. I wouldn't be upset losing the bet because right now I'm betting on the better teams. I'm not playing the narrative. I can't take the better teams, take the points. Probably, sadly, on the side of the public. Like it's gross, but this is how I feel on this Monday night when I looked at it.
Fine.
You know what? Me and Jack are not happy with each other right now. We're like a fucking angry couple right here, man. But KG Lil Joes, Manny, thank you guys for showing out in the chat. That's awesome. There's the Monday night plays.
That's the Monday night plays, and there's the Monday night show. The show is brought to you by Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every week people are turning $2 into $2,000 and walking out the door with it. Get the new Parlay Royale competition open. It requires a little bit more up front, but every night now someone's making $1,000. Pretty sweet. It's more than I make a night. And some big time special shout outs we handed out earlier today. One Mad Raider, that's Mad with a D. D as in dog, not N as in Nancy. For those, it's an easy mistake. I understand why we've all been making it. The pick six, we had long legs and Elok. Elok cleaned up. My man, Elok, E-L-O-K, whoever he is. Pick six, pick five, pick four. My man cleaned up, won over $1,000 himself this week. Another guy who won $1,000 in the Parlay Royale, Bread Getter 65. First time seeing his name. Welcome to the winner's circle. Excited to know you. The main event, we had Dylan's Chasin. Excited to get in touch with that guy and hopefully bring him on the show. And then last but not least, before we send it out today, people, reminder, the VIP trip of a lifetime is up for grabs right now at WANA. Ask anyone who's won these competitions. We've had them on the show. Go back and comb the interviews. The experience is more than worth $2,000. It's more than worth what anybody's offering out there. Takes $2 to get you in there. Have yourself one of the great New Year's Eves of all time there at Wrigley at the Winter Classic. And that's the show there, Lance. That competition, by the way, people, ends Christmas Day. Ends December 25th. Got you going to the game December 31st. Travel, hotel, suite, all of it covered for you.
Dude, I mean, tell me another gambling company out there, or wait, Daily Fantasy Sports app. What?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
How many out there are offering an experience to go take a shot with the owner of the company? Like, you're gonna be drinking tequila in the suite, ball. Like, come on, stop.
Same amount of penalties as called in the ACC championship, Lance. 0. Count them, 0. 0 other companies.
Oh man. All right.
I'm not bitter.
I was about to say, I was like, that's just Devin. We gotta find him down. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning into this show. It was actually we got through an hour, but it was all things WANA. We love WANA. Tomorrow, Jack, we'll have to talk about it, but it'll either be what you think, bracket and college football.
I think we're going college football tomorrow because the bowl games officially start tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we'll talk football on Thursday. Yeah, we'll talk NFL.
Yep. All right. You heard it here, folks. We will see you same place tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Folks, we love you, and we'll see you next time. Salute.